Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Dr. Clark. I'm the professor in your Survey of Management class. Welcome to the class. And I say right from the beginning that our goal here is that we want you to do well and we want you to have an enjoyable term with us. At the bottom of the syllabus, we're going to do 16 quizzes this semester. And at the bottom of the syllabus, it tells you how to take a quiz. We're going to do 4 tests this term. And at the bottom of the syllabus underneath that, there's a section on how to take a test. Wall Street Journal, we're going to be making a number of article assignments, some formal, some just suggestions. But we have a place on here on how, I think we've done it a couple of times, how to sign up for the Wall Street Journal. It's a student rate. It is very affordable, and you can cancel it at the end of the term. I hope you don't, but you can. Then we want you all to introduce yourselves to each other. And so we've done a Flipgrid assignment, and that too is at the bottom. Let me say that my contact information is on here. This is Survey of Management, and you can email me. Urge you to call me on my cell phone if you call me, because I tend to not look at my office phone a whole lot. So I'm Dana Clark. If you have interest in my educational background, where I have done consulting work and where I've worked in the past, you can go to my LinkedIn page and find it there. That is my office number, my cell number. When I say strange calls, I've had some calls at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I usually hear a party in the background and realize that somebody has inadvertently dialed me. So just be careful of that. I'm going to, in terms of office hours, you see down here below, if you want to meet, if you have questions, you just want to meet me, chat with me, that's great. My office is 4076 in Peacock Hall, and what you would need to do is contact me via email. We will set up an appointment. You also might want to monitor your email, ASU email accounts from time to time when I'm on campus. I will just tell you, look, I'm going to be on campus from this time to this time. If you have questions or if you'd like to meet me, just drop by. I will have some drop-by hours. Let's talk about the Wall Street Journal. You're getting ready to be a leader out there in the world, no matter what your major. If you're in college, then Appalachian State is training you to be a leader in whatever industry or whatever thing you're going into in life. To be an effective leader, you have to constantly scan environments. Economies go up and down, populations change, all sorts of things impact every industry that we're in. How do you monitor that? And one of the best ways to do that, so that you can begin to think strategically, is to read the Wall Street Journal. If you do this subscription thing, do it online. If you look over on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see the five or six most read articles. I urge you to read those articles, peruse those articles every day. Most of those articles you can read in 4 or 5 minutes. You'll find yourself, especially later on in life, those are 5 or 6 of the most read articles in America. If you find yourself at cocktail parties, dinners, social situations, how do you get in the conversation? Especially if you're an introvert, how do you get in the conversation? Well, one of the ways you get into the conversation is to know what people are talking about. And those 5 or 6 articles in the Wall Street Journal are what people quite often are talking about. If you'll peruse those, and you do it every day, just make it a life habit, you'll be amazed at how often you see those topics come up. They're quite often they're covering something that's being talked a great deal anyway. This is a management class. This is not a personal finance class, but it needs to be said to you that one of the realities of your life is that you're going to have to learn how to accumulate and manage wealth. By the time you retire, in your retirement accounts, you're going to need to have $2 or $3 or $4 million. All right. To do that, you're going to have to start putting money away very young. So you can't wait until you're 35 or 40 to begin a retirement account. You have to begin that as soon as you graduate from college. That is the first step. The second step is you have to wisely invest your money. And you're probably going to have to put, especially as you're younger, you're going to have to put it into the stock market. Well, how do you do that? All right, you're going to be sitting down in a human resource office in a year or two. They're probably going to have a 401k, and they're going to ask you how do you want your money invested, and they'll give you 20 or 30 options. You need, and my daughter works for UBS, and so I'm going to preach at you a little bit. I'm going to preach at the ladies here just a little bit. The UBS studies are showing that even younger women now are not learning how to invest. The men in relationships tend to handle that. Let's not let that happen. All right. So get into that. Wall Street Journal to strategically get you up to date, to help you monitor a variety of environments, but also to help you figure out how to build and manage wealth. Now, you will be formally assigned, I think, 7 articles this term, and you will then go to, as you learn, you'll see where to input. I want 5 bullet point review of the articles, all right? A bullet point is no more than 8 to 10 words. So this is a life skill, and it's an important life skill to be able to communicate effectively using very few words. You are an impatient generation, right? You don't tend to read long things. So knowing that, let's learn how to communicate effectively with as few words as possible. Complete sentences are not necessary. Major keywords, keyword at the beginning to really capture what you're saying. If you use more than 5 bullet points or more than 10 words, you'll lose points. We will usually assign these articles on a Monday, and the article reviews are due by midnight the following Friday. So you can have 4 or 5 days to actually read the article and do it. We are looking for you to think in detail on this. Don't just, what's the difference between an 80 and a 90? An 80 just tells me 4 or 5 things that are in the article. A 90 is somebody who actually thought about it and says, this is how this could impact things. Even better is if you could tell me, well, this is how it might impact things in the industry that I'm going into. Then we ask you to read and comment on what at least one other student has written. I'd like to see you do that for 2 or 3 others, but at least one. And we ask that you not just simply agree, but think and be original. All right? You might even disagree. Reasonable people may disagree, and what we ask is if you disagree, don't attack the student, just say I disagree with the idea. Again, we put in here a number of places where you may go to sign up for the Wall Street Journal. Here's one of those places. Now, in the real world, and that's where you're headed, deadlines count. You have deadlines for quizzes, you have deadlines for tests, you have deadlines for these Wall Street Journal write-ups. The deadlines are in the syllabus. And what we ask you is, please get this done by the assigned time. Please don't wait until the last minute. I'm assuming that you're looking at this about the 10th of January. Everything's uploaded into the system, so you can go ahead and do much of this. Right? You can get ahead with it. The problem is just don't get behind. If you miss a deadline, it usually means you waited until the last minute to do it. Don't wait till the last minute to do it. It is almost impossible. It's very difficult for us to go in after the fact and open it back up again for somebody. Also, I have over 100 students this semester, so anything that I do for one, students talk to each other. So anything I do for one student, I have to be willing to do for another. So I'm letting you know really early in this system, don't miss a deadline. I'm more than likely not going to work with you on that unless you have something really extenuating, and those are very rare. Okay, grade evaluation. This is my covenant with you in terms of grades. There will be 4 tests. They are all multiple choice. They are uploaded in the system for you to take. You get 1 opportunity, so be ready when you hit the button. 4 of them. Those 4 tests are 50% of your grade. There are 16 quizzes. They too are multiple choice. Again, you get 1 opportunity. So again, when you hit the button, be ready to go with it. All right. Wall Street Journal. Now, look here, there are 7 assigned articles, but also in this 25%, there are 2 interviews, and the 2 interviews will be recorded on Zoom. They will be sent to you and uploaded, and what we ask is that you go through, listen to the interviews, and then do 5 bullet points on them. Your grades will be accumulated in the As You Learn page, so you'll be able to follow it the whole semester. But these are the grading numbers. What numbers do you have to get to achieve the grade that you want? Well, there it is right there, okay? The course objectives, we have formal words that we use, but these objectives really, to me, are sort of the heart of it. This whole class is built around the 4 functions of management. Management is primarily planning. You have to come up with a plan before you can do anything. We have to be able to answer, what is it that we're trying to do? It's an old consultant's trick. You get hired and you go to wherever you're going to consult a day early, and without your client knowing it, you go and sit down and talk to some of the people that are working there, and you ask this question: what are we trying to do? If the people there can't answer it, well, no wonder you're having a problem achieving anything. You don't know what the plan is. Nobody knows where we're headed. You have to come up with a plan. You then have to configure an organization to help achieve the plan. Think about the Appalachian State football team. I use this as an example. Our plan is to win all the football games. How do we organize it? Well, we have an offensive line and a defensive line and a quarterback and a defensive backfield and linebackers and special teams and what have you. So you plan it, then you organize it. Influencing. This is a concept from a book, and it says you have to get the right people on the bus, and you have to get the right people in the right seat on the bus. So we have to spend a great deal of time getting the right people to fit into our program. And then once we get them into our organization, we have to get them into the right position, and then we have to motivate them. Kirby Smart, University of Georgia, 50% of being a successful college football team is great recruiting. All right, only about 25% of it's coaching, according to him. So just something to think about. Then finally, controlling. At the end of this, well, we came up with a plan, we organized it, we put all these people in there, and we put them into positions, and we attempted to motivate them and what have you. The controlling aspect is, well, did we do it? What did we do right? What did we do wrong? And what do we have to go back and tinker with? And we are constantly in that control part, tinkering with, was the plan off? Did we organize it incorrectly? Did we have the wrong people? Can we do better in any of those things? So we're constantly controlling. So course objective, to help you think through the 4 functions of management. We want to help the managers of tomorrow to begin thinking through their own management style. If you think about it, there are football coaches who yell and scream and jump up and down. There are football coaches that are very cerebral. There are all sorts of different management styles, and they can all work. You have to figure out what your style is, what works for you. So while this is a management class and almost 60 students in it, we might end up with 60 very different styles of management, but they could all work. For you to be successful, it needs to be something that works for you. To demonstrate how managers may operationalize modern management theory. All right, so we're going to talk about a lot of theory in the book, but y'all aren't going to major probably and get master's degrees and doctorates in management. You need to be able to operationalize these theories out in real-world situations. All right, we're going to talk about some real-world stories in some cases and what have you, and through the interview and through the Wall Street Journal, we hope to make this as real as we can. Moving on, this is a survey of management course for non-business majors. If you are any kind of a business major, this class is not open to you. You need to drop it, go take a regular business class. These are the formal words that we use to describe the class. And the required reading material, two things, the Certo and Certo book and the Wall Street Journal. All right. All of these things that we go through here, university policies and what have you, we're required to put in the syllabus. I'll let you take a look at that, but I assume that you're running into that almost no matter what class you take. Okay, moving on. Why that won't close. All right, January, that is today, we're going to do a class overview. As you learn, please introduce yourself to the class at the Flipgrid assignment. Note, please respond to a minimum of one other student who has not responded. That's in the Flipgrid. Please have this done by Friday, January 14th. Then, starting, and you see that we start on Wednesday, chapters 1, Appendix 1, Chapter 5, and Chapter 17. Those are the first 4 chapters that are assigned. So you need to be going ahead, reading the chapters, go ahead and start taking the quizzes. Wall Street Journal Article 1 will be assigned on Monday the 17th. If you look at this, we go through and we make Wall Street Journal assignments, and we leave those same 4 chapters on there. But then in February, on the 2nd, Wednesday the 2nd, we have all the first 4 quizzes are due at that time, all right? And the Monday the 7th, test 1 must be completed. So by 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday, February the 2nd, you need to have the first 4 quizzes done. And by the 7th, you need to have test 1 done. Then we start on the next 4 chapters, and we continue making Wall Street Journal assignments. So I think and we see quizzes and what have you. Now you see in March, on the 2nd of March, Interview 1 write-up will be due by 11:59 p.m. on this date on Wednesday the 2nd. I will make that interview will be uploaded a couple of weeks beforehand with this, all right? So, and the interview is always somebody in industry that I think would be interesting to you. Spring break, hope you have a great one. For those of you who are seniors, this is the last big hurrah, so go have a good time. Again, Wall Street Journal articles and Wall Street Journal write-ups and tests and what have you. I'm just hitting the high points here. Interview 2 write-up is due on Wednesday the 27th. Right, and Wednesday the 27th of April, which is the last day of class. All of these things can be done in advance, with the exception of the Wall Street Journal write-ups, all right, because those are due on you just have 5 days. Everything else, just about everything else in there, other than the Wall Street Journal write-ups and the interviews, can be done in advance. I've actually had students taking this class that by the middle of the end of February have taken all the tests and all the quizzes, because their other courses are very back-end loaded, so they go ahead and do everything in this class except the interviews and the Wall Street Journal write-ups. We told you at the end of the syllabus how to take a quiz, how to take a test, how to sign up for the Wall Street Journal, how to do a Flipgrid assignment. All right, this is some basic Wall Street Journal information I wish you'd take a look at. So there we go. I think that's really sort of the overview of the class. I look forward to working with you, want you to do well. I realize that most of you are not business majors, some of you are business minors, but no matter what your major, even if you're going to work for a nonprofit or religious organization or what have you, I think that you will find this to be helpful, because what we're really helping you to do is learn how to manage an organization, not so much a company as it is an organization. Get with me if I can help you. Look forward to working with you. Let's have a great term.